Alright, what's up, guys? My name is Zach, and I'm back again with another episode of the Shooting Cars Podcast, my attempt at making a weekly podcast. Now, I do have a guest on the podcast. Max is actually coming on. I've known Max for a very long time, and I'm very glad that we finally got to do a podcast together. But before we get to that section, which is quite a long section if you look at the length of the video, just want to do a quick rundown for the channel. First of all, this week, starting with this video, the week of, what is it going to be? It's January 13th on. This is going to start the new schedule for Shooting Cars. So, podcast on Monday, video podcast on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be reviews, and then Friday will be a Rotary video, Mazda video, informational video, something of that sort. So, hopefully, we're going to get back to the 5 videos a week. That's the plan, with the reviews taking up the middle chunk of the week and then saving Friday for the fun, extra videos, and Mondays for the podcast. This might change, but as of right now, I have all of January, or the rest of January from here on out, scheduled that way. So, that being said, I just wanted to talk about some of the cars that I've been driving, because the last episode I said, I might drive this. I had only reviewed one car this year, and that was the Tahoe. I'm actually now up to 9 reviews, technically 10 cars, and I'll talk about that. So I'll just talk about what I've been driving, and then we'll get to the podcast with Max. So I ended up driving the Porsche. Absolutely awesome. Actually, right before that, shoot, now I'm forgetting. What did I drive right before the Porsche? Oh, no. Uh-oh. Sorry for the dead air. I don't mean to do dead air, but what did I drive right before the Porsche? Oh, I drove okay, so the second review of the year will be a BMW X1, a little, tiny little BMW. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It was okay. It was okay. Then I drove the Porsche Panamera 4. Absolutely awesome. It ended up being the sticker price that they had it for sale for is 92. I almost said 95. $92,000, which is insane. That's insane for me. But also, fun little story is I had a stomach ache that morning, and I might have tooted a little too much in a Porsche Panamera. By far the most expensive car I've ever sharded in. But, yeah, well, tidbit. Unfortunately, it was after I was filming. I was just doing the pickup shots and all that stuff, so it's not on video. So don't watch the video thinking like, oh, dude, things like that. After the Porsche Panamera was a GMC Sierra, a 2018 GMC Sierra. Very nice truck. It's a nice middle ground. Then after that, I drove a Jaguar XJ8, a 2004, owned by my good friend Roy. And then I drove a Volvo 240 DL wagon. So the old, Volvo square body wagon, which is owned by my friend Caleb. And then after that, I drove, what did I drive after that? I think I went back to Toyota, which was yesterday. So that was the Mazda CX-3, a 2017 Mazda CX-3, and then I drove 2 Toyota Highlanders, a 2019 and 2020. So I'll be doing a comparison video between those 2 years because they redesigned it for 2020. So the 2020 Highlander is completely brand new, minus the drivetrain is identical, but it's completely redesigned, and so I'll give you my thoughts in that video. And then this morning, right before I did the second half of this podcast, I did a 1996 Dodge Ram. Dodge Ram 1500, 5.2 liter V8, but it's a 5-speed manual owned by Max, who is the second half of this podcast. So that's really it. I just want to get you guys the schedule, and my haircut. I got a haircut. And the cars that I've driven, is that all of them? I think that's all of them. Let me see if I forgot any. Panamera, GMC Sierra, Jaguar XJ8, Volvo 240DL, CX-3, Highlander, Dodge Ram. Yeah, that seems to be it. So, hope you guys enjoy this. I'm very, very excited that I got to sit down with Max. We finally got to do a podcast together. I I've met Max quite a few times. Very good friend, and yeah, we're in a hotel room, and I share one of the worst hotel experiences I've ever had. Max and I talk about all of the cars that we've driven, kind of compare notes on a couple, and it's a really fun podcast, and I think this is by far my longest podcast. So I will stop rambling now. Here is Max from Cool Stuff in Weird Cars.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast. I'm just
Thank
going
you.
to throw this all in because
All right.
this is the Garden Hotel, and I will publicly go on record of saying the Garden Hotel is the worst hotel in the world. I'm also going to spin a lot in my chair because I don't know, I have like nervous fidgets and stuff. So
I mean, I do too. So.
anytime I'm given a swivel chair, this is my exact position.
Yeah.
Class, work, whatever it is.
Yeah,
I'm just
that's-
circling around.
Sounds familiar, definitely.
What have you been? What have you driven recently? The Mustang.
I drove the Mustang. I've driven my Ram and my Lexus, which is currently disassembled at my house because it had a bad rear wheel bearing and the wheel was about to fall off.
Oh.
Not
How
really,
many miles
but-
are on that thing now?
174,000, just hit it not too long ago.
Okay. It's getting up there. On the
Yeah.
way here, my trusty but rusty G6 hit 190,000.
Wow.
And I want to die every time I drive it because it sucks. It's horrible.
Yeah?
Did you see my new hood paint that I put on it?
No, I didn't notice it whenever you pulled up.
Yeah, so I got a rock chip at the car wash. I was very mad about it. And one night, might have had a brew or two, and I was like, I'm a car guy. You know, I should be able to fix this stupid little rock chip. So I got the correct paint. I had it sitting around because I've been meaning to respray some stuff.
Mm.
And I did the thing where you fold the piece of paper, and then, you know, so there's no hard edges.
Yeah.
And then I sprayed over it, and I'm looking at it, and it has this metallic sheen to it, has all the right flake, and I'm like, this is beautiful. This is a work of art.
Yeah.
I take the paper off. It's completely the wrong color. So there's a giant dark square
You think
in the
it's-
middle of my hood.
You think it's just because the rest of the paint has been in sun for so long?
Probably. I
It's
also
faded?
yeah. It's bad. It's so bad. It I think like I'm genuinely gonna go out and get a new hood for that car because I think I just need to throw that one away.
You can.
But so how's the Mustang? How did you like the Mustang?
The Mustang, it's not a bad car. I in my review, and even in the title, I called it a perfectly adequate car because that's pretty much what it is. Because it's a
It's
V6,
fair, yeah.
automatic. It is a convertible though, which is nice. I do like the fact that you can know.
Yeah.
It's a little more fun in the summer, but
Your chair sank down so much.
it's,
I'm
it's
trying
so
to. Oh wait,
bad.
I got a wheel.
Like,
there we go.
there we
now
go.
now I feel like equals. Jeez.
Yeah, I sat down in
Can I-
this chair and it just instantly sunk.
It's the Garden Inn Hotel. What do you expect?
But yeah, it's not fast, but it's not slow.
Yeah.
Like 210 horsepower, something like that. Automatic, 5-speed automatic. Not very comfortable, I won't lie. Would not want to drive it on a long drive.
Yeah.
The seats, like, it feels like there's about that much
Yeah.
actual cushion.
Was it auto or manual? I forget.
Auto.
Auto. Okay.
5-speed auto, which I thought was interesting because you can actually shift it through all 5 gears within the shifter. Because it has 1, 2, 3, then overdrive on the far side of the shifter, and then drive.
Was it a separate like gate?
No.
Okay.
No, it's park, reverse, neutral, drive, 3, 2, 1, straight back, and then on the right side of the shifter there's an overdrive button. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
your 4th gear, I guess.
Huh. Okay.
But yeah, I mean they're reliable and they'll get you where you need to go, but it's just
Yeah.
like if you want a Mustang but you don't want to spend the price of a GT, you can go with
Yeah.
the V6 and it's okay.
Yeah. I think they overshot it with the GT500. What year was the one that you drove?
07.
I think mine was 07 too, the one that I drove. Which people oftentimes are like, oh, you bashed that car too hard. The owner who gave me the keys, he's like, this thing is horrible. I'm selling it as soon as you're done. So I was like, all right, cool. So then that kind of gave me the green light to... You're lucky it was auto too. The manual shifter was by far the worst part of that whole car. It, as I described it, it's like if you put a stick into a bucket of gravel. You could not feel where any of the gates were. There was no precision in that whole vehicle.
Huh.
It's just It was so bad.
So you're saying my Ram was better than that?
Oh, 100%. Although I did, I don't know if it'll come through in the review, I did go first, second, fifth one time on accident. So I'm like, wah, wah.
Oh, yeah, it sounds great too.
It does.
Yeah, it's got a K&N filter.
V8s
Yeah.
sounds so good.
And it's got a cold air intake, so.
Yeah, I always wanted to do that with my truck. I remember back in the day, there was a guy who made a video about it, like how to put in the cold air intake. This is before I made videos. And I think it was a joke looking back on it, but he would put ice into the box so it was cold, and he pops the hood, and there was like a sausage and like ribs in there. And he's like, then you got lunch too. And at the time, I thought like, I remember this was probably like sophomore year of high school. I was like, wow. Oh, I guess it's a good way to, keep your food cold and cold air. Looking back on it, the dude was probably just memeing, but yeah, I always wanted to do that, and I had an exhaust cutout on mine.
Ooh.
Which was good until it wasn't. Because
Yeah.
I got it off eBay, which it's one of my most viewed videos, putting this stupid exhaust on. But it had an electronic cutout, so it had a keychain.
Oh.
And so I'd be sitting next to my friends. I was like, listen to this. Like, like it sounded like the cam shifted. Like it like puttered differently.
Yeah.
Is puttered a word?
Yeah. I'd say so.
But then I was driving and I hit a bump, and the motor fell off. It's somewhere out in the world, somewhere out in the ether now, and so the motor created the resistance for the valve. So without the motor, it was just open all the time.
This is loud.
So it was loud because I remember I was driving and I hit a bump. And I was like, and I was like, ooh, wow, okay, like whatever. And I went to go close it when I was about to pull into my neighborhood. Wouldn't close.
Sure, your neighbors love that.
Yeah, I got under it. The motor was just gone. It was just like a little servo motor. And but that was pretty cool. That was one of my favorite parts of the truck. I think you should put if you decide to keep that truck, I think you should put an exhaust on it.
Honestly, this truck is more of just a placeholder until I can get a diesel one, because I love the second gen Dodge Rams, and I always wanted one. Yeah. But the diesels they're like $10,000.
Yeah. By the way, we're talking about his 1996 Ram.
Yeah.
I just reviewed it. It'll be out on the channel probably like 3 weeks after this podcast.
Whenever.
Whenever it is. But no, that's why I said in the review is I love these trucks to death. I've never driven a Cummins, to either 12 or 24 miles.
I've driven some, but it was back, like, I was learning how to drive stick.
Yeah,
so it was like
that's tough.
7 or 8 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
Actually, I did drive, I worked at a car dealership, a classic car dealership, and one of our Ram trucks was a 01, I think, Ram 3500, and I actually drove that truck to go get my Chrysler TC by Maserati. Yeah. Because it was...
I love how you say the whole thing, by the way.
I love saying
Your Chrysler TC by Maserati.
Chrysler TC by Maserati, yeah. And I usually mess it up, and it ends up just being Chrysler TC by Maserati, yeah. But yeah, I drove that thing, and it was... I was like, wow, I really like this. Yeah. And I'm like... I always love the style of the second gen Dodge Rams, and then I found this one, and the guy was wanting to trade for something, so I was like, hey, I have this really crappy Ford Ranger that's worth like $2,000 probably.
I forgot was the Ford Ranger manual?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was a 4-cylinder, 5-speed, 2-wheel drive, extended cab short bed.
What 4-bangers were in there?
It was the 2.5. It was the Lima engine, the 2.3 that they had in the earlier ones, but just bored out a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was a 2.5 instead of 2.3.
And it wasn't a Duratec quite yet,
No.
was it?
No, Duratec came out in 2002, I think.
Okay.
Which was a lot better engine.
Yeah. Because
it got better gas mileage, and it also had like 150 horsepower instead of 120. But I could roast the tires in that Ranger, though.
My friend, Rod, who I hope to get on the podcast soon, he has a 2.5 Duratec in a Mazda 3. Mm-hmm. And he put literally an eBay turbo on it. Did all the good parts, ethanol, whatever, made 515 at the wheels. The car is genuinely one of the scariest vehicles I've ever been in, because it's a base model Mazda 3 from 2008 with 515 horsepower. There's a video somewhere on YouTube of us doing pulls in it, and you see me genuinely get scared. Like, genuinely. It's 90% I'm scared of the car, 10% I'm terrified of my friends driving, and so it was bad. But that's where I learned about Duratecs. Duratecs are great.
Oh, yeah.
I love Duratecs.
Never actually driven anything with a Duratec myself, I don't think. I don't know. I drove I worked at the classic car dealership for 3 years, and I drove probably like 600 or 700 cars.
You drove a lot of cool
Oh yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I drove
Are you as big a
everything.
nerd as me? Do you keep a spreadsheet of your cars that you've driven?
Not exactly, but
You need to do
my
it.
memory
It's
is
so
okay.
satisfying. It's
Yeah.
so satisfying scrolling.
I do have a spreadsheet of every car that I filmed though.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
every car up until like 2017 because that's
Yeah.
when I stopped carrying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I drove 1906 Cadillac and a
1906.
I think it was like 1906. It was somewhere in the early 1900s.
Okay.
Very
You have me
early.
beat then. We have a 31 Ford.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I drove a bunch of Model A's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love our Model A. I miss driving the Model A so much. Almost more. I miss actually driving my RX-7.
Mhm.
I miss being seen driving the Model A.
Yeah, because people look at it.
Every
Yeah.
old, young, everyone waves. They
Yeah.
look at you weird.
Yep.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
So what else? What else?
You can probably name off a classic car, and I've
You
probably
drove
driven
a Ferrari or two,
I've
right?
driven. I drove two F355s, one with the F1 transmission, one with a 6-speed. Actually, I've been two with a 6-speed and one with. There was one with an F1 and one with a 6-speed at least. I drove a couple 308s. Drove a 400A, the automatic one from the 80s, the big
Oh.
four-seater.
I don't even know if I know what that looks like.
They're kind of weird looking. I think I drove. No, I didn't drive a 348 ever. But yeah, Ferraris. We had a Lamborghini there whenever I first started, but I never actually drove it, sadly. Drove some of the craziest fast cars I've ever driven, like a Fiat 500, original Fiat 500 from the 50s.
Yeah.
So like literally original Mini Cooper size.
Yeah.
With a Subaru STI engine in the back.
Really?
It was terrifying.
Did you film that or no?
I didn't for my channel, but there's a video on our my old works YouTube channel of it.
Okay.
And it got shared around by like Road and Track and Car and Driver and all kinds of crazy
Really?
things back in the day. Yeah, because they were like, look at this crazy Fiat 500 because it has a wheelie bar. The engine sticks like this far out of the back of it, and it was terrifying to drive. It was so fast.
Ugh, I can't even imagine. Because what do those things weigh?
Like 1,300 pounds,
Yeah.
I think. Especially because that one was a lot of fiberglass.
Okay.
And drove that. Drove a Callaway Corvette from the early 2000s, I think it was. It was a C5, and it was supercharged. Probably made 800 horsepower or something. Drove a Pro Street Mustang from the 60s, which was odd because it didn't have a limited slip. It had a single. It was one-wheel peel.
Really?
But it was a Pro Street car that had the big meaty tires in the back, tiny tires in the front.
I don't know when LSD, like when those came about. I have no idea. Like I don't know the history of that at all.
Yeah, I know.
I'm interested.
70s cars, like that's when they started. I think it was when they got big was when they started doing 70s cars, like with the 454s and 426 Hemis and stuff, because they could not hold it to one wheel. They would just instantly break loose. So I feel like maybe early 60s, maybe late 50s.
Yeah, I have no idea, but yeah, the craziest car of all seemingly that you've driven is a Dodge Nitro. Your video just hit what,
300,000 views.
300,000.
Yeah, it hit 300,000 views a few days ago, which is crazy because it's a 2008 Dodge Nitro RT, and I didn't drive it. It was just a tour video.
It was just a tour?
Yeah, it was just a tour. I know. I showed the switches and the cargo area and stuff, and for some reason, it is the number one video.
That's more than any of my videos.
Yeah, it's the first video to show up when you type in Dodge Nitro on YouTube, and it has been for 5 or 6 years.
Just Dodge Nitro, not even
Yes.
RT. Jeez.
Yes.
What came with the RT?
I think the bigger engine, the 4.0 V6.
Oh
was
yeah.
In the RT. But I don't know if that was specific to the RT or not, because I don't remember, because I haven't brushed up on my knowledge of nitros in
why would you?
5 years. But
they're essentially Jeep Liberties, right?
Yes,
okay.
They are the exact same as the second-gen Jeep Liberty. But I think it's like leather and stuff. Like it's the highest option one too.
So it wasn't like, because not recently, this is coming up on like 3 or 4 years ago, I learned about the Caliber SRT 4s, which I didn't even know existed.
Those are crazy cars.
Yeah.
I've heard questionable stories about reliability on them.
Oh, yeah.
The wiring's awful, I've heard.
I sat in one. It had the motor out of it, so I couldn't review it at the time.
Yeah.
It was owned by a guy who had a bridge-ported 86 RX-7. That review was up. But it had refrigerator in the glove box or the center console. One of the two was a refrigerator.
Huh.
And then the rear tailgate, because it was like the Caliber, it had the tailgate, it had speakers that would fold down.
Huh.
So it was like the perfect tailgating car, but it's a Caliber. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, why all of that in a car like that?
I couldn't tell you because the closest I've been to like actually looking closely at a Caliber is the fact that one of my coworkers now drives one as a daily.
Okay.
It's a base model.
Yeah.
But
I did an SRT4 Neon last year, which I wasn't even supposed to do that review. I drove out for this Mustang review, and I was like, hey, like, whose Neon is that? Or SRT4? Because apparently it's not a Neon. And he was like, oh, it's mine. Do you want to drive that one too? I was like, yeah, sure. That one got like 3,000 views almost instantly.
Yeah.
The Mustang that I went out there to review, like, dwindled.
Yeah. That's actually the same story for me too. One of my coworkers at the car dealership, he had a modified SRT4 Neon that I drove years ago. It's an awful video because my camera was not attached to the windshield well. I think something wasn't tightened, so it shakes the entire time. But that video got it got crazy views, like a couple thousand in a couple weeks. Yeah. And it's...
What'd you think of the SRT4?
It's fun. The torque steer is pretty crazy on those.
I didn't think it was that mind-blowing as everyone
The
says
one that,
they are.
at least the one that I drove, because like I said, he was probably making 300 wheel or something. Yeah. Probably more than 300 wheel. But it was not a great car, not terrible, but they're fast still though. Yeah. Or at least fast for what they are.
Yeah, fast enough. I mean, I don't know. That was one of the cars where I was like, not a don't meet your heroes sort of instance, but I was like, I feel like these are so hyped up, and this one I think, it had a lot of miles on it, so I don't know if I drove the exact prime example. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
I just thought it was funny that the front windows are powered and the rear windows are manual nose.
Yeah. That was a weird thing. I was like, literally the interior of that. What are you doing?
This cushion is making me.
Oh yeah. That was once you got into the interior of those. This one, I think they have factory boost gauges.
Yes, they do.
Besides that, it's like rental car everywhere. Yeah. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I couldn't. I don't think I'd ever buy one. I don't know.
I like the Calibers just because they make a lot more power. They make like 285, I think, instead of 230. Yeah, they make almost 300 horsepower out of the factory.
I haven't driven one, but I don't know. I kind of like one that like is a quirky, like an SRT4 version that's quirky and weird. Yes. But did they make? What other SRT4s did they make, or was it just those two? They made the SRT6 Crossfire, yes,
which was a supercharged Mercedes V6 from the SLK.
Which I met a guy at a meet and he said that I could review it, but that was months ago. I need to catch up with him, see if I still can. That was weird because that was a cool car. Yeah. That came out of the Chrysler Mercedes deal. We at home have a 2004 Chrysler Pacifica. That is not a cool car that came out of the Chrysler Mercedes. Yeah, those aren't great. That thing, I mean, that was maybe the fourth or fifth car I reviewed. That thing bucks. Now the transmission is sayonara, dude. It is walking out. It is grabbing its hat and coat and on its way out. Yep. It's so bad. We had to replace the engine cradle in that car. It rusted out. It was a recall. Wow. There was a lawsuit that went out against Chrysler because the car got nicknamed the engine dropper. Because literally in any salt belt state, the engine cradle, like ours was like so close to falling out. We had like horrible vibrations. It was my mom's car, and love her to death, but she doesn't like really like know a whole lot about cars. She's like, it's vibrating. Yeah. And we're like, they got it up on the lift, and they're like, oh no. Yeah, they're like, ugh. We had to not import, but get engine cradle shipped from like South Dakota or like Utah or something like that.
Because it wasn't rusted?
Yeah. They had to ship a whole... It was a used engine cradle. They didn't even like have any OEM ones. And this was 2012? Yeah, it was 2012 because they gave us a brand new Ford Escape rental cars the first year that they were boosted.
Oh, yeah.
The Ford Escapes. Yeah. That was a fun little zippy car. I didn't review that one, though. I should have.
Yeah.
There's a couple cars that I should have reviewed back in the day that I missed the opportunity.
I know that feeling.
Like what?
Working at the dealership.
Yeah.
Just every car that came through. Like, I tried to get most of the 80s and 90s stuff that I drove there. So I have, I have an 88 RX-7 convertible 5-speed that had 9,500 miles on
I'm
it.
sorry, man. Those suck so bad.
It wasn't that bad though.
It's so bad.
I did drive an SA though, a 79.
I have not actually driven an SA.
Yeah, it was a 79 with 50,000 original miles and a 5-speed.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
It popped so much though.
The little 12A does work.
Yeah.
I will never go back to carburation. I might. Like if I ever own a classic one and want to keep it original.
Yeah.
But I love fuel injection so
much.
much.
That's great, yeah.
That 12A, when I blew an apex seal,
mm-hmm.
I was probably about a half mile from my house, so I drove it back, parked it, drove it to the Mazda dealer 3 miles away. They couldn't fix it, drove it back. Then I drove it another town over to a shop.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't fix it, and I flatbedded it back. But I probably put 30 miles on one rotor on the 12A. It started... It didn't start first crank, but it was like then fired up, like any other old car.
Yeah.
And that 12A would not give up.
It's impressive.
I give it mad props that I hate carbureted motors. I don't hate them. I don't like working on them. I wouldn't want to own a carbureted motor.
Yeah.
Although I've fallen in love with carbureted straight sixes.
Oh, they're great, yeah.
The original Mustang, it sounds phenomenal. But yeah, those 12As are... The reason I say I'm sorry about the 88 RX-7 convertible is that those cars are so fat. They're 3,400 pounds, which the stock is 2,800.
Yeah, because of the extra
for the chassis rigidity, and so the rotaries don't make any torque.
No.
Driving a convertible versus driving a coupe, two different worlds. Even naturally aspirated.
Yes.
And then you get into the turbo models, which are awesome. The Turbo 2s are awesome.
Yep. Never drove anything other than that one, though. That was the only FC I ever drove.
Yeah.
Never drove an FD.
I pride myself on the fact that I've driven every single year of the FC.
Wow.
In some version or another.
So what's that, 86 to 91?
Yeah, 86 to 91. Oh, you watch my videos.
Yeah. I am a huge nerd. I retain information a lot, like stuff like years and what differences there are between years of cars and stuff.
Yeah. The FDs are good. I've driven 3. I think I've driven 4 FDs. I've driven 4 FDs.
That was
the yellow one. Yeah, our boy Colton, who's been on the podcast, Shooting Cars podcast alum, which I didn't review his FD.
Yes.
And I kick myself every single day. But I've been talking to him. We have a little Rotary group chat.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to find either an FB or an SA down in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do a triple review. So I'm going to do, here's the white Turbo 2 FC, the FD in yellow, and we're going to try to find an FB, and I'm going to do all 3 generations in one video.
That sounds cool.
So, yeah, I want to do like a complete RX-7 review.
Yes.
It's all 3 gens.
Yes.
SA... It's a first gen. It's a first gen, and honestly, the 13Bs are way better than those first gens. But I don't even remember. Oh yeah, so Colton had that when I drove it, it had 8,000 miles on it.
Yes.
Which is just rowdy.
It's crazy.
And the thing, they're so smooth. Stock FDs.
Yes.
They're so
That's
smooth.
what I've heard.
Same with the NSX.
Yes,
I drove a 98.
Yes, I drove a 91 back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not fast.
No.
But smooth.
Oh, and the shifter, the gearbox, amazing.
Dude, the Civic Type R, the brand new one, feels identical.
Wow.
I was like, the shifter feels spot on.
Huh.
I always praise Honda for their shifter.
Yep.
I think they genuinely make the best shifter feel.
I
hate Hondas, but just want to be clear out there as I hate Hondas, but they make a dang good shifter.
Oh yeah, I drove a total of 1 Honda, and it was an NSX.
I mean, that's the one to do.
Yeah, that's not a bad one.
I did drive a B18 swapped Civic hatch. Well, I've done a coupe and a hatch B18 swap. One was an EG, one was an EK. If you know the differences.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It
doesn't really matter to me. But I know the Honda Civic. But the EG, because it was stripped, had like a straight pipe exhaust, like total like race car. It was just used as like a little track learner car. That was a lot of fun to drive. My friend
sure.
Felix has the coupe, but it has like a full interior, and it doesn't feel as quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't like Hondas because I don't know. I can't get behind like like I could never dedicate my life to a Civic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like at the end of the day, like it's still like
it's
an
a pretty
economy
basic car, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them out there, and there's nothing really special about them. They're just a little front wheel drive 4-cylinder car.
Yeah.
It's not like an RX-7 that's got a rotary or
it to me it's like
else.
You'll see like a pizza with like weird toppings on it, and like that's not gonna wow me.
Yeah.
Like show me something I've never seen before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I get a lot of hate for that, but
oh well.
Oh well.
I mean, I don't see myself owning Hondas either, really. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's other Hondas.
I did drive another Honda.
What?
I drove a first-gen Ridgeline that my friend owns back in the day.
Oh, weird.
I didn't drive it like as a video or anything.
Yeah.
But he was like, I don't remember exactly what the reason was, but I think it was because I had my Ranger and nobody wanted to ride in the back seat of it because it was, it's got the little sideways seats.
Those had the side jumper seats.
Yeah,
mine the S10s.
Mine didn't have doors in the back like my Ram.
Hey, neither does this thing, man. And there's a video of me trying to get into it, and your front seat doesn't move up. So, the whole video review, I think the filming time was like 15 minutes. 3 minutes, besides the 15, was me trying to get into the back, and I was trying to the front seat doesn't move. It didn't want to move forward.
It's hard, yeah. I think it's a little rusted or something.
Yeah, mine. You were supposed to be able to adjust it in my truck, and
all I remember about the seats in that thing is that the backs don't lock in it at all.
Yeah, I tried to get it to lock, and I think
it doesn't.
Now that I think about it, I'm probably talking about the back seat and going like this to try to get that seat to lock.
Yeah.
That probably comes across in the video like I'm a friggin' crack addict. But
that's pretty good.
Yeah. I cut my lip.
Did you?
I don't know, I might have. It happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So, but that doesn't have rear doors.
No.
So it's everything horrible about getting into a coupe, and then you lift it 3 feet off the ground. So when you got little short, stubby legs like me, you're like doing like an acrobat move to get into the back, and then I had to like shuffle around the front seat. If you were still sitting in the truck, there's no way I could have gotten in.
No.
No way.
No.
It's a dumb design.
I just remember my Ranger. They only wanted you to get in the passenger side to get in the back seat because the passenger seat is smaller because it's a 60/40 in the front.
Okay.
Same as that thing actually because it's got the center. The center is attached to the driver's side, not the passenger side. But in the Ranger, just that passenger side, as soon as you flipped the little switch up, it rolled all the way forward automatically. And on the driver's side, it would flip forward, but then you had to pull the other lever to pull it forward. So I think most car makers are like, all right, people are probably going to be getting in the back seat from the passenger side mostly, so we'll make it easy.
Did your Ranger have lumbar support?
No. It was awful. I still think it was more comfortable in my Lexus, though, because I hate the fact that I have to say this, but my Lexus LS400 has some of the most uncomfortable seats for road trips I've ever driven in.
Really?
It makes my back and my lower back so uncomfortable after like an hour of driving. Weird. No matter how I sit.
Because those are such comfy cars.
Yeah, I think the seats were really worn down in mine. Because it is ripped in one spot. And I just think it's worn down. And it's old leather. It's 25-year-old leather. Yeah. So it's probably hard. But yeah, it's why I like driving that thing on road trips more. Like I said, I drove to New York City and back, which was 30 hours of driving. And I felt great afterwards. Yeah. It was fantastic.
I actually, so my truck, back when we had it, it came with leather seats, like the sport leather.
Yep.
And they wore like instantly. Like the whole driver's seat was like held together with duct tape, but the duct tape had even like worn off. Like it was so bad. And so I was in shop class sophomore year, and we had like a tool crib, you know, and on top of it was just this big container. And our shop teacher was actually moving schools, so he was like getting all of his crap out. Mm-hmm. And so like one of the shop days, we were just like helping him move. Like that was one of our class periods. And so I get to the back, and I'm like, these seats look really familiar. And I was like, teacher, Mr. Ballard, I think it was. I was like, Mr. Ballard, what are these seats out of? He's like, oh, it's a second gen Ram. And I was like,
oh.
how much do you want for him? And he goes, 25. And I was thinking like, all right, $75 is not bad. I was like, all right, cool. So then I like came back and I like gave him the 75 the next day at school, and he's like, what's all this? And I was like, you wanted $25 for all the seats? He's like, yeah, just $25
The
in
whole
total.
thing.
Yeah. I was like, oh, so I had the truck. I just backed it up, put them
Yeah.
in. Then we swapped out the seats, and game changer. I love cloth. I'm
Yeah,
so
cloth is
glad
great.
my new RX-7 has cloth.
Mm-hmm.
The last one had leather, and Rotaries bake you alive, and you just stick to the seats. Just it is gross.
Plus, there's windows everywhere, so the sun's always beating in on you.
Yeah, which actually this one has like dark tints on the hatch. Like dark tints. Like I'm gonna get pulled over for these tints. I need to remove them before I start on the car. But yeah, that thing. Oh, and I don't have a sunroof in this one.
Yeah.
So I can't crack it open and let it vent out.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna die in this car. Is what I'm getting to. But it has cloth seats, so I won't stick to them.
Yeah.
And
when you die.
Yeah. Yeah. So then they can actually remove me. They won't need the jaws of life to remove me from the red seats. I still have the seats in the garage. I want to make like a bench out of them. But I can also now fit with a helmet in my car.
Yeah.
Because the cloth seats sit lower than the leather ones.
And the sunroof didn't change anything about the roof.
And actually, the roof line sits higher now too because
Yeah.
of the no sunroof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all nice because with the sunroof, the gutters come down so low. So hopefully soon, I actually should have a video about the rain gutters coming out on the first Gen RX-7. Because there's a lot of, I didn't realize this, but 80s cars have a lot of tubing that goes through their body panels for water drainage. At least the RX-7 does, and I believe the 300ZX does. But basically, from the sunroof, there's 4 like legit tubes, like plastic tubes that go down the A pillars, but then it empties right behind the front fender, which is closed off. So like, there's no like
no drain.
Yeah, and then in the rear, the rears, those vents behind the, like on the. So there's like the triangle window of the hatch, right?
Yeah.
To the right of it, there's a little vent.
Yes.
There's like a little air vent.
So?
Yeah. The back of the sunroof drains out those. And then the hatch, there's like 2 little holes at the bottom of the outside of the hatch. Those go through thick rubber tubes. They're like clear. I'm sure they're supposed to be clear, but 35-ish years later.
Yeah.
They go down through the hatch, out, and then at the bottom of the bumper. So when it's pouring rain, you can watch first gen RX-7s. It looks like a stream of piss coming out either side of the bottom of the bumper, like perfect streams, and then that's why they all rust out right there.
I can imagine.
So yeah, but I just made a video about that. It should be up later for those interested.
Someday.
But so my schedule is now. I'm doing podcasts on Monday, so this will be out in like 2 days.
Yeah.
So like out. 'Cause
Wow.
I was gonna film a podcast tonight, but I'm like, Max is in town.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Yeah.
And then 3 reviews in the week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday review, and then Friday some Rotary or Mazda or some type of video.
Someday I'll have the time to be able to do that. But right now, I work from 8 to 4:30 every day, and it's an hour.
You work
driving.
at any car stuff or no?
You mean like as a job?
Like as a job, yeah, because I know you
No.
used to work at the classic car dealer.
The closest I get is the fact that I drive all over the place because I drive box trucks for furniture.
Yeah, dude, your picture was freaking me out on Twitter. Because you
Like
said,
cab
because
over
I was
cab.
like, what are you driving? And you said my Ram, but there's no hood.
Yeah,
in
because
the
I thought
picture.
I thought you were talking about when I was driving through the snow. Like
No,
as a
yeah,
daily,
yeah. So, yeah, you posted this picture, and it was just, because it was just, like, I couldn't tell because of
It
the
was a
dash.
corner,
It wasn't
yeah.
enough the dash. It was just the corner, so I saw the wipers, and then no hood.
Like, what?
And you replied, oh, I'm driving my Ram, and I'm like, I was trying to, like, work it out in my head. I'm like, does the hood sit lower than I remember? Like, I was freaking out. And then you replied, I think, to your own tweet. You're like, oh, yeah, it was a box truck in this picture. I was like, oh, thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely took that the wrong way, but
I want to drive more box trucks. They're fun.
they're
flat-faced.
interesting. Yeah, they're slow.
Well, yeah.
Although the new one we have is not bad. We have a 2017 and an 06. With
Oh.
the 06 has turned 58,000 miles, I think now.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Well, I mean, on those the little
Yeah.
ones, it starts to get a
Yeah.
little not great after about 250,000 probably. But we have
Wait,
that.
did you say 58 or 258?
258.
Oh, I thought you just said 58.
No,
I was like, oh, wow,
258.
that's so little.
No, 258,000.
Okay.
And yeah, it's quirky. And then we have a 2017 with like 50,000 miles.
Okay.
Which is funny because that one, when I started in June of last year, it had 34,000 miles, and now it has 50,000. You can tell how much we go out of town.
Yeah. I did a Honda Acti recently.
Mm-hmm.
I just like driving cab over stuff. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, because
it's kind of weird.
You're
Which
sitting
also,
on the wheels.
Rest in peace to that car. Like a week after I reviewed it, maybe 2 weeks, it got T-boned in an intersection. Thing crumpled up. It was a 93 Acti.
Yeah, those are not safety.
Yeah, thankfully my friend who owned it, he was fine. I think he bashed up his knee a little bit because the dashboard hit him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like right after the review came out, and then like 2 or 3 days later it was hit.
Wow.
Which is just weird. Which I don't like advertising, but it's happened to a couple of cars.
Huh.
I reviewed a Grand Marquis, a Mercury Grand Marquis.
Mm-hmm.
Later that day, the motor grenaded.
Wow.
Yeah. Which it's a 4.6. It's the
Yeah.
Crown Vic motor.
Yeah,
like,
it's not supposed to do
that. What else? This is just, it's such bad juju. But also, your truck was review number 323? So, like, reviewing that many cars, like, it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, I drove a 1984 Mercedes 300D.
Ooh,
It was a diesel turbo 5-cylinder.
Yeah, those are fun.
So slow.
Yeah.
I think like a month later, it dropped the trans out of it.
Oh, yeah.
It just
that
went out.
happens.
Yeah, it was automatic, so.
Most of them are.
Yeah.
Unless you get like the super basic 240D with the smaller 4-cylinder diesel.
Which I can't even imagine.
And
it
you
was
get a
naturally
4-speed.
aspirated, right?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. I rode in one of those at one point. It was.
Dude, I would love to cruise around in one of those.
Oh, yeah.
Go to the bars one night and
They're great.
70s or 80s Mercedes. Come on.
As long as you're not trying to accelerate anywhere, they're great. As long as you can you have some time to get them up to speed. They're fine.
Yeah, as long as you have like an extra 15 minutes from wherever you have to go.
Yeah.
Great cars.
Yeah. And the one time I rode in a manual transmission 240D, I was working at the car dealership down in St. Louis, and at that time I knew barely anything about like anything in St. Louis. Like I'm South County and South. That's where I am. I'd been to Chesterfield like once or twice.
Okay.
Before I started working at this current job. But we bought a Mercedes, like a 71. It was actually a neat car. It was like a 71 280 SE 4.5. So it was a V8 automatic 4-door. And it was a great car. But the thing is that we bought it from this guy. They actually called him Herman the German because he was actually German.
Okay.
And I had never met this guy before in my life.
Yeah.
So suddenly they're putting me in this old Mercedes, and it's pouring down rain, by the way.
Right.
They put me in this old 240D with this guy that I've never met before in the pouring rain to go get another car to drive back in the pouring rain. And it went fine, but it was slightly terrifying because just anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. But luckily the windshield wipers worked on that car, which was nice.
I have a similar story where I was terrified around one of those. This just came back to me. Those old big body Mercedes. So, what was this, last year? Maybe 2 years ago. I went out to go film something. I've been slowly trying to make this documentary about the red car because it has such a weird past that I can't really figure. Like when I got it, it was manual with a 12A. When I went to go sell the 12A, it was a 1982 12A I found out, which was in a 1985 car. And I read the Carfax. Car started its life as an automatic. It was manual when I got it. Like all this weird stuff. Like it went off the map for like 5 years. No one knows what happened to it. Whatever. Then I got it. Whole thing. Anyway, so I went to go out and film part of this documentary, which hopefully I'll finish this summer. But I was with one of the previous owners, and he lived in Chicago, like Chicago.
Yeah,
So
like
we were
city,
in like like he had a garage that was separate from his apartment in an alleyway, and so we're talking, and he's got an RX-7 and an A86 actually, and so we're just talking, and this garage opens next to us, and they have an old Mercedes diesel. And apparently these guys like sell them back to Germany.
Yeah,
because not a lot of cars in Germany had air conditioning.
Yes,
and this was an air conditioning model, whatever. And the garage opens, and these 3 Russian guys come out, and I'm talking straight out of like I'm not kidding.
Straight out of Moscow.
Jumpsuits, chains. All of them were smoking cigarettes. I probably one of them had vodka. I don't remember. Like straight out of everything you think of, like when you think of like stereotypical Russian guys.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little kid, essentially. I was 21, but I was a little kid, and I've grown up in a very sheltered area. We'll say.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, on the inside, I'm freaking out. But the guy I was talking to, who used to own my car, he like just waves over to him and starts like talking to him, and they're talking in some language I don't know. Probably Russian. I would assume. I don't know. Like I don't know a lick of Russian, so whatever. And so they needed help starting it. So we go to the garage next door, and we're like helping them fiddle with it. These guys are intimidating.
I'm sure.
And I'm like shaking in my boots, like, do you have any starting fluid? Like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And so the guy who used to own my car, he goes, he's like, you know this kid? And points to me. And I'm like, I was like, oh no. And he's like, you know who this is? And the guy was like, no. And I was like, oh no. Like, this is how I die. This is how I'm going to get split up, and I'm going to get killed, and that's it. And all I have now is my Pontiac G6. That's what I'm going to die next to, because it was parked right there. So this is great. And the guy who's selling my car is like, oh, this is he's a YouTuber. He's a famous YouTuber. And I hate it when people say, because I've had people say, oh, this is a famous YouTuber. I have 21,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
That's not famous. No, I got recognized in public one time, and that was it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh God, this guy's gonna kill me, because I'm like, he's gonna think I'm a snitch. He's gonna think that like I'm like secretly recording him or something. And so anyway, the owner of my car said, yeah, he does like car reviews. And so the big Russian guy, bald Russian guy, like straight terrifying guy, gold chain jumpsuit, like seriously. He looks at me, he goes, that's really cool, you want to film car? And I was like, maybe. I was so scared. He's like, yeah, have at it, like do whatever. He's like, and he just started talking to me. He's like, we send these to Germany, we make a good profit, it's good, clean, honest money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do you have to specify that? But okay. And like, so like some of the nicest guys I had ever met, and then I'm like, man, I should be less judgmental.
Yeah.
But yeah, they shipped that Mercedes to Germany, back to Germany.
Oh yeah, we sold at the car dealership. We sold tons of cars that went overseas, mostly German cars.
Yeah.
Like Mercedes and BMWs and Volkswagens, like Volkswagen buses.
Yeah.
They buy the crap out of those to send back to Germany.
I need a Volkswagen bus.
They're great.
I need like an original one. Have you driven one?
Well, I mean, I think the earliest one I drove was like early 70s. They're the
still,
original
like,
style.
Stereotypical. Yeah.
They're not the flat ones. Like
I got offered a flat one up in Toronto. I'm gonna try to go up and film that this summer.
Those are cool.
Which those are those air cooled?
Yes. They're all air cooled. All the transporters, Vanagons, those are all air cooled. I think. Okay. Unless they added water cooling at some point, I don't know. But the ones I drove, at least, which the newest one I drove was an 81 or 83.
Those are the flat-faced ones.
Yes.
Those are the boxy.
And they were almost all the ones I drove were Westphalias, so they had the roof that popped up.
Oh yeah,
with the camper, that was almost really every single one.
Yeah, man, that's the one car my girlfriend wants, of course. I've always, but also when I went out to go visit Atkins Rotary 2 summers ago, we were just talking at dinner, and he's like, we used to do rotary conversions on those all the time. All the time. He's like, Well, you would have to put a radiator, but they
Yeah.
just stick a 12A into it. It makes 110 horsepower.
More than the Volkswagen.
More than
yeah.
the Volkswagen, and something cool, unique, and
Mm.
and at that time 12As were plentiful.
Yeah.
Like it was just like a, I don't know, getting like a Duratec now. You know what I mean? And so I started looking into it. There's a whole swap kit for $600. It bolts to the stock transaxle, so you keep the stock transmission, you keep the stock diff, and you don't need a drive shaft because it's right there.
Yeah.
It's just literally an adapter plate and mounts.
Huh.
And $600. Find a 12A, which now they're going up in price for no reason, but find a 12A for $750 to $1,000. I mean,
that'd be pretty cool.
Like,
yeah.
And the cool thing about it is that most of those transaxles were shared with Beetles.
Yeah.
They mostly did Beetles.
Yeah.
But they're shared with the buses.
Yep. It's all the same.
And Porsches.
Yep.
And I'm like, if I could find like a
912,
60s,
yeah.
dump a rotary into it, show up to a car show, because then you're in an old Porsche and they're like, that's cool, and you fire it up, it's I'm revving it to 9,500 RPM on a Bridgeport at 13B. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
That would be really, really cool. That's a dream build of mine. But
although those Porsches, they're expensive still. Even if it's just a rolling shell, they're expensive.
It's like $25,000.
Yeah, for just a shell.
Yeah. There's a car dealer here in town. I'll give you the name of it after if you want to go pop by. They have an old air cooled sitting outside. I don't think it has a motor in it, and it's beat. It is beat, but I'm sure they want $15,000 for it.
Yeah, easily, because somebody will pull those dents out and fix it up.
That's like if I ever get to like Adam LZ money, where he's just chucking it around.
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff I want to do. I want to import an HB Cosmo, which is never sold here. Came with a turbo 12A, carbureted turbo rotary.
Huh.
Yeah. So which also they never got the GSLSE in Japan.
Yeah.
The top trim was the GTX.
Yep.
I think it was the GTX with the same 12A turbo.
Huh.
So, which I held the cooling fan of one of those. Ooh. They were orange. Oh. And the intakes were orange.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Atkins had a cooling fan from one of them. They're dumb rare. There was one for sale in North Carolina like 2 years ago. I think he got like $16,000 for it, which is it's an FB though. Like, yeah. I was also thinking like if I ever come into stupid money, I'm gonna just buy FBs and like resell them for cheaper.
Yeah.
To like try to get prices back down because it's insane.
Single-handedly.
There's a GSLC that sold the other week for $12,000. I'm like, it's a GSLC, sure, but like,
I think
it had like 75,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
Like that's not that. I mean, it's
low.
It's low. But it's not.
It's a rotary.
It's so $12,000 rotary. Yeah. So.
I was just thinking about something, but it was something to do with the RX-7, that SA that I drove, and I don't remember what it was. I think. Oh yeah, we think we sold it for like $8,000 maybe. But it was like great condition, 50,000 miles.
Yeah, you said 50,000.
It was I think it was a GSL, maybe.
I don't think the SAs had trim levels like that.
Oh, maybe not. I don't remember.
They had like the LS, funny enough, which is the leather sport.
Ooh.
But that came with
leather.
gold wheels.
Yeah, it didn't have leather.
I don't think the SAs actually had like trim levels.
Okay.
You could get them apparently. You could get a first year SA with a 4-speed.
Yeah.
Manual.
I do believe that. I think I've seen some of those before. The one that, like I said, the one I drove was a 5-speed, 79. And
my goal this year is to drive. I think I have an RX-2 and an RX-3 locked down that I can review.
Yeah.
Just gotta wait for weather. I know someone with an R100, and I want to drive it so bad because those came with the 10A.
Ooh, smaller one.
Yeah, so the R100 and the original Mazda Cosmo came with the 10A, which is a 1-liter. Yeah, their housings are like this wide.
Sure.
I held the rotor and housing from one before, and they're like,
wow,
they're that big. There's one running one, and it's a town over from me. And I really want to try to talk him into...
Yeah.
Like, even if I have to do the entire review in the driveway and then I get to drive it for a minute. Yeah. Like, because usually I do the driving review and I talk the whole time, but I'm like, if you're really that worried about it, like, I just need to drive it 2 blocks.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's
Yeah.
all I want to drive it. I just want to say I've driven and commanded a 10A because those you don't see anymore.
No.
But
Not anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Oh, do you want to hear my Garden Inn story?
Yes, I was just about to say something about that, yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, we're in a Hilton Garden Inn hotel.
Yes.
Because Max is from St. Louis.
And this was the cheapest one I could find around, so for 2 nights.
Dude, it's nice in here.
Yeah, it's actually not bad.
So, and also this story has nothing to do with cars, but it's just the worst hotel story I've ever... I have. And I've stayed in a lot of bad hotels. So my girlfriend goes to school out of state. And so anytime I go to visit, it's like 2.5, 3 hours away. I always have to get a hotel.
Yeah.
I always have to get a hotel because she's in a sorority and I'm not allowed to stay in the house because I'm a boy. Blah, blah, blah. It's stupid. Dude, it's so stupid. But anyway, so I always have to get a hotel. And so one night she had a barn dance, which is a very Midwestern thing.
That sounds very Midwestern.
Do you not have these down in St. Louis, like colleges or anything?
I mean, I don't know enough about colleges to really say.
So what a barn dance is literally they bus an entire sorority out to a barn, like a real life barn.
Yeah.
Like real life to the point where my allergies just messed me up.
Yeah.
Like it was like hay, like there was animals in there like 40 minutes before we showed up. Like it's a barn. And you go and you listen to country music and you drink. That's it's a very Midwestern thing. Because when I talk to my California friends, they're like, "You are smoking crack," and I'm like, "I promise you, this is a real thing." So,
welcome to the Midwest.
Yeah, so we had her barn dance, and so we took the city bus to her sorority house, and then they bussed us out to the barn dance, whatever, blah blah blah. We get back, we get on the bus, and we're headed back towards the hotel. The hotel's the very last stop on the bus. So as we're going, people are getting off. This is like probably 11 o'clock at night. And we had already checked into the hotel. So like my car was already there and we literally checked in, left.
Yeah.
And so we, 2 stops away from the hotel, the bus pulls up to the stop. No one's there. Guy just turns off the bus and gets out and starts smoking a cigarette. And so like we kind of looked at each other like, and I just yelled up, I'm like, all right, we're going to get off. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was an extra 2-block walk.
Yeah.
This will come in later.
Oh.
So we get to the hotel, and the room, this is a garden hotel, which originally was a Hilton Garden Inn, but now it was just the Garden Inn. The main lobby was maybe 2 football fields long, 3 stories tall, glass roof, beautiful.
Wow.
A giant full bar. There was a snack center with 1 Sunny D. That was all they had. Not a single other car in the parking lot, by the way, besides the staff.
Okay.
Not a single person was in here. We never saw another guest the entire time. So we're like, this is weird. So I go get my key. We go up to the room. Seems fine. The room next to us, their room number... Well, our room number was 203 or whatever. 209, actually. The room next to us was 208, and the reason I knew that was because it was a Post-it note on the wall. It didn't have a room number. It was just a Post-it note. So this is already... We're walking up, and I'm like, this is a little weird.
Yeah, a little sketchy.
We get into the room. The wallpaper was curling a little bit. It reeked of smoke.
Of course.
And so I got a non-smoking room. But of course it reeks like smoke.
Yeah.
We get in. I turn on the water to just, wash my hands, freshen up.
Yeah.
The water pressure was so aggressive, it actually hurt. It was bad. The soaps on the sink were from other hotels. Not even Hilton's. Because I think it used to be owned by Hilton, and Hilton vacated it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Like
not even Hilton, like, bottles. It was just random soaps. From, like, other hotels. Very weird.
Yeah.
So then we put our stuff down, and I'm like, whatever, I already paid the money for this room. We're only going to sleep here, whatever. Oh, and I ordered 1 king bed for us. They gave us 2, like, not even, it's like slightly bigger than, I think queens, maybe? I don't know.
Well, you have...
Smaller than this. They gave me 2 that were smaller than this.
Maybe a full, because I think full is between king, queen, and...
Whatever it is. So they gave us 2 beds. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, it's fine. We'll throw all of our crap on one and sleep in the other. We pull back the sheets of the first one. There's just dirt chilling. Like, not like a whole lot, just like little...
Yeah,
Yes.
just little spots here and there.
And same with the other one, too. This room looked like it hadn't been used since, like, 1810 or something. I mean, like, I don't know, like the Dust Bowl era or something, because there's just dust and dirt in both beds.
Mm.
And I was like, whatever. Okay, fine. I'll go down to the front office. I'll get new bedding.
Mm.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I go downstairs. By the way, in the hallway, my feet are sticking to the ground. Because I stepped out in just socks, and I'm like,
No.
No. That is horrible. And I am the kind of guy, I pack one pair of socks. So, because it's just a one-night stay, so, it's not for a week-long trip. I pack exactly the amount of days.
Yes.
Pairs of socks. I don't pack a single extra pair, and it's bitten me a couple times, but... So anyway, I go downstairs, I go to the front desk, and I'm standing there, and I, like, ring the little bell or whatever, and a guy comes around. He's, like, no emotion. And he comes around, and he's like, room 209? And, like, just looks at me and knows my room number. So not a lot of people are staying there.
No.
And I was like, yeah. And he's like, what do you need? I was like, hey, like, you know, the bed sheets were just kind of gross. Can I just get fresh ones? He goes, sure. Goes around the back, takes a little bit of time. I'm looking around, and this is when it starts to hit me. This dude's acting real weird.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a single person in this hotel. This is where I started to think, and the bus didn't drop us off, right?
Yeah.
We were the last two on the bus. I'm like,
Yeah.
I might have had a drink or two in me, and I'm like, I might have died. I genuinely, for a second, no BS, I thought I was in purgatory. Because I'm like, I'm in this horrible hotel.
Yeah.
No one else is here. But it looks like it's made for a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Like I said, giant lobby. Oh, the other weird thing, our room, the windows face the interior. So we had windows of our second floor room that looked directly into the lobby.
Ooh.
So we kept those shut.
Yeah. Understandably.
So I'm looking around and I'm like, I think I died. Like, I think I died at the barn dance. I got kicked by a horse in the head. Bella and I died. We're, gonna get chosen soon or whatever.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm thinking this, and the guy comes back around. I can't sit up in this stupid chair. The guy comes around, and he's holding the linens, right? And he just goes, just holding them, staring at me. And so I take them, and I'm like, are these pillowcases too? Walks all the way back around the desk, grabs 2 pillowcases, comes back up to me, and is just holding them. Doesn't say a word. Not like, here you go, my bad, hope these help. Nothing. So I took them, and I went back up to the room, and Bella, that's my girlfriend's name, she was sitting on the bed. This isn't like a ghost or apparition named Bella. It's my girlfriend. I feel like I have to specify that in a hotel like this. I get back in, and I was like, that was a weird experience. And I told her what happened, and she's like, this is what kind of freaked me out. She goes, yeah, I have a real Bates Motel vibe about this place. And I was like, ugh.
What?
I was like, oh, man. So I deadbolted the door, like locked it, all this stuff. And so we swapped out the bedding. We were stupid tired. We go to bed, whatever. 9 a.m. on the dot. I just hear on the door, right? What just... Something's loose in here.
I don't know. It might be on the lamp. I don't know.
Oh, whatever. I just heard it rolling.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. That adds spook to the story. So I hear this pounding, and not like a... I didn't hear a room service either. I just hear bam, bam, bam. I thought someone was trying to knock down our door. And I genuinely thought, we're going to die.
This is it.
Like, this is it. They know where we are. The guy knew room 209 was me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is it. So I jump out of bed in my boxers. And I just yell, what? Which, looking back on it, is not the most macho reply. But they're knocking on the door, and I just go, what? And then I just hear, housekeeping. That's when they yell it. And I'm like, I look at Bella. She's in bed, like,
terrified,
shivering. Yeah, and I'm like, can you come back later? No response. I heard her cart, it's her. I heard the voice. All the way down the hallway, into the elevator, and it went down. Like that, There was no other people on our floor.
Yeah.
So I looked at her. I'm like, sleep as long as you want, whatever. As soon as you're up, we're getting out of here.
Yeah.
And so we ended up leaving. And the last weird thing was we were like walking out and there's a person at the desk and she goes, oh, leave your key. Which, like, what hotel asks for the key? Do most hotels ask for the key back? Any hotel I've ever stayed in, they don't care. They're like, you could recycle it if you want.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't work anymore.
No.
And they're like, just leave the keys.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, okay. So, like, I just put them in a basket. They didn't say a word else, and I just walked out, got in my car, and went home. It was terrifying.
I'm sure.
So, there's even more to this story, actually, now.
Oh.
So, I go to school, and I'm talking to a good friend of mine, and I tell him this whole story. And he's like, that's wild. Where did you stay?
Mm.
And so I told him where it was. And so he's like, did you look up the reviews? And I was like, No. But it said on Hotels.com it had 3 stars.
Yeah. I
learned that whatever it has on Hotels.com is not how many stars the hotel is.
No.
So, I did not realize this difference. So we go online, we're sitting in class, and he starts giggling. Like, giggling. And I'm like, the hell? Like, what are you looking at? Like, why are you giggling at a hotel review? We read review after review. Some guy got walked in on by the room service. Like, so many people were like, this place is creepy. This place, the one I remember vividly was the guy was getting ready and he had to physically push back the door because they were trying to come into his room. Like, he had to, like, actively push it back because apparently the person didn't speak English or something. That was the excuse. I'm like, that's a murderer.
That's a bad excuse.
What, like, room service person is like, let me clean your room?
Yeah, I need to clean it now.
Bad. Like, if you feel the door coming back, like, let go, homie. Like, the Lysol can, be used later. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So we read review after review, and it's just like, apparently it was built by Hilton and the Garden Inn, and then Hilton just abandoned it, and it started its own, like, they continued as the Garden Hotel or Garden Inn or something like that. Terrifying. And every time I go back to visit her at school, not a single car in that parking lot. Not a single. I think maybe this was over a year ago at this point. We were probably their last guests. Like, I never see a single car there. And I've gone down for her homecoming events, not a single car in the parking lot. I've gone down for, big football games, the Nebraska-Illinois game. Like, it's, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It was terrifying. And so that's why when you said, oh, Garden Inn, I was like...
Oh, no.
You're in for a rough night. You better deadbolt that door. But this is so nice.
Yes.
This is actually nice.
It's actually a Hilton, too.
Yeah, this is like real Hilton.
Yeah.
This isn't like...
It probably just never got touched after Hilton left. That one that you stayed in. It was just... That was it.
You know what probably happened? They probably just abandoned it and some squatters came in and they're like, hey,
we can make some money.
Yeah, we're going to start a hotel here. Like, it was so weird.
Yeah. It's too spooky for me, honestly.
Yeah, looking back on it, I don't know why we stayed the night.
Yeah, after all the weird stuff happened at the beginning.
Like, honestly, you should never drink and drive.
No.
I was not, like, drunk enough to not be able to drive. Like, I wasn't even drunk. We had 2 drinks in a barn, like, 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. But that night, like, I hate driving even if I've had alcohol in the last couple of hours. Like, even though I know I'm not, whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, it would have been so easy just to call an Uber. I should have just called an Uber. There have been multiple times in my life where I'm like, I should have just called an Uber.
Yeah.
We were walking back from a bar one time. Got another horrible hotel. This was a motel off of the highway.
Oh, those are fun.
Yeah. But I was like, you know what? All the other hotels were booked up. I paid $175 for this horrible motel room. Because it was homecoming weekend. And there was vacancy at the Garden Inn. I did check it, and they were wanting like $60, and I'm like, never again.
No.
So I was like, all right, Bella, I'll treat us a little bit. I'll get the King Suite at a motel.
Yeah.
The King Suite at a motel
is like this.
It's a dirty shed. No, not even this. This is amazing quality. So anyway, this hotel room, what they did was they took 2 hotel rooms and just mashed them together. So one room, right, was the bed.
Yeah.
And the sink and the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So the other half was a couch and a bathtub surrounded by carpet. So you could watch TV on the couch or in the bathtub.
Just throw in a bath bomb and you're good to go.
Yeah, like, seriously. So anyway, we were at the bar, and there was a big football game in town, and so we didn't think about that, and we checked the Ubers, and it was like $35 back to the hotel for one Uber.
Yeah.
But it was like just under 2 miles.
Mm.
So I'm like, oh, like, we
Yeah.
could just walk it. She was the one that, like, said we should walk it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm the big macho man in the relationship. And we met a possum that night. We met a man who, I don't know if he lived in the bush, but he was definitely sleeping there. There was a lot of strange noises and dark sidewalks that we walked down to get back to our motel off the highway. And never again. I will never cheap out again on engine cooling parts for my car or hotels.
Yeah.
Those are my 2. I'll cheap out on food.
Yeah.
I'll cheap out on,
Clothes,
yeah, for sure. I'm a big Walmart Fruit of the Loom guy. This is actually Fruit of the Loom. I think I got this on. No, I got this at Walmart. I got this at Walmart. And I got the little iron-on patch.
Nice.
All at Walmart, baby. I'm a discount guy.
Yeah.
But never again with hotels.
No.
I'm like, I'll pay whatever for a nice hotel.
Yeah.
It's.
I think the only really bad hotel experience I've had was my first time being in a hotel. So I didn't know really what to do or what was good, what was bad. I went to Kansas City for a Comic-Con.
Okay.
And it was really stupid, kind of stupid the reason I was there. It was just because I was like, I want to drive somewhere, but then it was when I was like, my parents were like, we don't want you to drive across the state or anything. So I of course I drove to Kansas City, across the state. And this was like,
which is not actually in Kansas, which made me big mad.
Yeah. Well, there's Kansas City in Kansas, but it's not the big Kansas City.
Yeah.
The big Kansas City
actual
is in Missouri.
Kansas City's in Missouri.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I look online, and I don't even remember what my criteria was for a hotel. I guess I just found whatever was kind of close to the convention.
Yeah.
And it was, for one night, it was $276. Oof. But I could see the convention center from my room.
Yeah.
So I walked there, which was nice. I think I drove my Ranger that time. Did not drive my big truck because I didn't have it at that point. But yeah, I spent way too much money on a hotel. Yeah. I spent more for this for 2 nights I spent less on this for 2 nights than I did for one night there. And I think Atlanta, when I went to Atlanta, it was even cheaper. But that was a very not so great hotel. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
It's all about just finding. There's a hotel review podcast now. It's all about like you can find deals. Like there's like by her school there is like one. Like we always stay at the same one now to the point where the guys recognize me and I'm like, this is too much. This is too personal. But it's like a good median of like it's clean, it's a respectable hotel, and it's not too expensive. But it took a lot of trial and error.
I'm sure. And I stay in hotels. I've been in hotels, 3 times now? By myself, because I was Kansas City.
Yeah.
All I remember from the hotel room in Kansas City was that I watched Gone in 60 Seconds with Nick Cage.
Oh,
the night before I went to the convention.
Still not seen that movie.
It's a good movie.
I feel like as a car guy,
it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people hate on it just because it's Nick Cage and they don't like Nick Cage, but like I like it. So it's got some good cars. It's got some good car chases and stuff.
Well, Gone in 60 Seconds has screwed the price of those original Mustangs.
Oh, yeah, the 67 Mustangs in general.
That Bolo Auto Museum I told you about, they have one there. They have an Eleanor. I think it's a movie replica, but
I drove a couple of those.
Yeah, they have a lot of actual movie used cars in that museum. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think the one Eleanor, the one good Eleanor clone I drove, which was like a really nice build, and it had like a hopped up 390 with a 5-speed manual, and it was fast too. Yeah. I think we sold that for like $90,000.
Really?
Yeah, and it wasn't like an original. It was blue. It was dark blue. It wasn't silver.
Did Ford offer it like that in that spec? Was there an Eleanor?
Oh god, no. No, Eleanor was just.
It's from the movie, right?
Yes.
Eleanor is from.
Yes, absolutely, and the body kit, of course, because that's totally '90s body kit for a '60s car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all based on the movie. Because the original Eleanor was a 73 or 71 Mach 1 Mustang, which is still by far my favorite generation of Mustang.
Yeah.
The 71 to 73s.
Oh, I need to talk to this guy in the spring. There's a guy who offered up a 71 King Cobra down in Kentucky for me to review.
Kentucky.
Yeah. I actually, genuinely, I love Kentucky. I love Lexington.
I've been through Paducah, and I only went there because I needed to drive south to Atlanta.
Yeah. But it has 31,000 miles on it.
Wow.
So apparently, a guy bought it, drove it around for like a couple of years until like 1980 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Then he put it in. He like got like a carport or something, like a little storage unit essentially,
Yeah.
and then died.
And the car stayed in there.
The car stayed in there till I think 05 or 06. So what happened is this thing is clean except for the door.
Yeah.
There was a hole in the ceiling.
Oh.
And so for like 20 some years,
it just dripped on it.
It would drip, get past the seal, and sit in the bottom of the door.
Ooh.
So the whole bottom of the door is rotted out.
Just get a new door.
Yeah. But the rest of the car is spotless.
Wow.
And his son has a Terminator.
The 03 or so, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been meaning to... I tried to review it at the end of last year, but it just got too cold too quick, and everything that happened with the RX-7, I kind of ran out of money, so...
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's what happens, because I was like, this car came up, and I ended up picking it up for $1,600, and it was going to be $500 to ship it, and I'm like, I don't have $2,100, I have to make it appear, like, right now, so I put it on a credit card.
It's one way to do it.
Yeah, it's one way. I would not recommend doing it, but I paid it off within a month.
Okay.
So I just
That's good.
didn't go out to eat and
Yeah.
mowed a couple extra lawns and
Yeah.
But it's what you got to do.
Yep.
But so you have any plans for your channel? I mean, like anything. I wish I had a car up here for you to review. I really do.
Yeah, I know, but both times I've come up here, it's been like not good timing.
Yeah, the red car was in storage,
Yeah.
and then now the blue car doesn't even run yet. So yeah.
But
hopefully, I'd like to bring the blue car down to St. Louis this summer.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be the FB that I do in the triple review.
Yeah.
But
you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but really, I mean, I'll just keep making car videos, and I throw on the idea of making, because I love the idea of taking old cars on road trips, like Roadkill does or something, and I'm like, what if I could do that, but like put like a different kind of twist on it, like a 90s and 80s cars kind of thing, rather than their 67 Biscaynes or whatever, and I would love to do something like that, but the fact that I'm one person is not really helpful.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of throwing out ideas and seeing what can happen, because I love the cheap car challenge, like buy a car for $1,000.
I was just about to say, this summer I really want to do a $500 to $800 car challenge. If you'd be interested.
You know who to call.
Yeah, I know, and I wanna. So what started this is I found a Mazda MPV for sale, minivan, 04, 285,000 miles on it for sale for $600.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you put a bed in the back.
Yeah.
And my end goal is California.
Yes.
And so
absolutely.
What my plan would be to buy it, make a few videos modifying it. I think I know a livery I want to put on it. The 787B.
Yep, of course.
MPV with the orange and green.
It's a Mazda.
Checkered. Yeah,
it's basically the same thing.
Yeah. So ideally, I'd love to do it in like a Grand Marquis or something, but I feel like I need to keep it Mazda because of the channel.
Yeah.
And so drive it out to California, document the whole thing. Then I'm thinking like, literally just being like, hey, if you're a viewer in California, you want it? Like, honestly,
I will
like,
give it to you.
Yeah. And like the other thing that kind of sparked this was I scrapped the cat's out of the bag. Oh, and the video died, so this is gonna be audio only. Yeah, it's fine. We have like 5 hours of recording audio, so we're good.
Yeah.
I scrapped the red car. I didn't publicly make that possible, but if you've listened this far, you've earned it. I scrapped the red car. I sent it to a junkyard, like a legit junkyard. It was so easy to do.
Oh yeah, they'll take it.
I literally called them, and they're like, "All right, we'll give you $125 for it." I was like, "Cool."
Yeah.
Then they called me back 5 minutes later, and they're like, "We didn't realize it didn't have wheels, so we can only give you $100 for it." It's like, all right,
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
Guy shows up. It's literally a bare shell.
Yeah.
I even cut extra metal off of it. And the guy's scratching his head, and he's like, yeah, I can't give you $1 for this. And I was like, just get it out of here. Like, I don't
Scrap
care.
it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I need this thing gone. My mom is pissed.
I'm sure.
She's pissed that I have 2 inoperable cars in the driveway. Not happy. So, yeah, the whole scrap, he's like, okay, they just lifted it up. I have video of the whole thing. That'll be in the documentary. Exclusive footage. But,
Exclusive.
I know, exclusive footage.
Ugh.
But, yeah, it was so easy that I'm thinking, like, if I break down in, like, the panhandle of Texas,
Yeah.
I'll just be like, hey, I got a nearly running and driving Mazda MPV.
Yeah.
I don't even need any money for it.
Yeah.
I have the title in my hand. Come pick it up.
Come pick me up.
Yeah.
Take me to an airport.
Just get me close to an airport. I can Uber the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And I'll just Uber to an airport, fly home. You know, I'll keep, like, some extra money on me for all that, because a one-way ticket last minute probably wouldn't be too expensive.
No.
But
Not too bad.
yeah, I really want to do that. I think it'd be fun to do with other people too, and, like, set up stops and be like, if you're in this town, come see the vehicle, write your name on the bumper. I don't care, like, stuff like that.
Like, I was just thinking about it, and I was looking on Facebook Marketplace for cars. I was like, there's like an $800 Eagle Talon and like a 90s, like later
all-wheel drive or
no,
front-wheel drive,
but it's for like $800.
Yeah,
but
that would be kind of fun if
there's a lot of interesting stuff for $800 out there.
If we both did it,
yeah,
and then I'll just start. My first stop will be St. Louis to pick you up, and then both of us can go.
Yeah,
we'll go out to California.
We could have 2 cars. We could have 1 car.
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah,
but like, I want to make some sort of a show out of something like this.
Yeah,
that's like a big goal I have of mine. I want to make it different from what other people are doing.
Yeah,
but like one of my ideas was making a kind of a series where it's like, oh, I drove my, Lexus LS Runner or whatever on every mile of interstate in Missouri, or every mile of Highway 44 or something.
Interesting. Okay.
So, because like you stop at various places on the way. You'll check out like local.
Have you ever heard of the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass?
Yes, I don't think I've ever actually really watched much of the content.
I've watched a couple. It's very much like a, not that I have anything against exotic cars.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to kind of like I don't know, not assimilate. What's the word I'm looking for?
I know what you mean. You're talking about like
You see, it's hard. Associate? No. Maybe, sort of.
Yeah, you can get the point across at least.
Yeah, it's like it's hard for me to look at an exotic car and then be like, oh yeah, I'm right there too. Like, so like, so Seen Through Glass, really, seems like a cool guy.
Yeah.
He came through Chicago too. He imported his 911, his 2019 Porsche 911. And apparently you can get, like, permits to drive a car in essentially a green card for a car.
Huh.
So he drove a right-hand drive, because he's from the UK.
Yeah.
He drove a right-hand drive Porsche all around the US and then shipped it back.
That sounds cool.
Which it's so pricey.
Oh, yeah.
But I've wanted to do that. I've always wanted to ship my RX-7 back to Japan and drive it in Japan.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But, yeah, like, do something like that, because then, like, each stop, like, down in the bottom left-hand corner, he has, like what state it is, and, like, so he did a couple videos in Chicago, so it says, like, Chicago and has, like, the little dot on the map, and something like that would be pretty cool to kind of mix travel and cars, but do it in, clunkers.
Yeah.
rather than his freaking expensive Porsche Targa or whatever.
That's the thing, is that I really I have no interest for, like, all the supercar stuff. Like, I couldn't care about TJ Hunt buying a Lamborghini or whatever it was. Whatever. What kind of car was it? It was a Lamborghini.
I don't follow TJ Hunt because he gets under my skin so much. I hate him.
I used to watch him a lot, but I don't watch.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just, I understand that it's tough, because at a point, when you get so successful, you want to say, like, like the next logical step is to get a more expensive
don't
car.
Need to.
But then like you become like harder to associate with.
Yeah.
Because it's like now when I watch a TJ Hunt video and which I don't do, first of all. I don't do.
Yeah.
But, if I'm watching one and I'm like, oh, he's putting a wide body kit on a Ferrari 458, it's not like, oh, that's going to inspire me to do an oil change on my G6. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to sort of, I hope to not get to a point. I want to buy super expensive cars, but like the HB Cosmo.
Yeah.
Or like an original Cosmo.
Yeah, because those are stupid expensive.
RX3s have shot up in price. 40, 50 grand.
Because they're like the original, like...
They're
like
first...
the normal-ish car compared to like the Cosmo. Because I remember the earlier Cosmos are like really kind of...
They're very space-agey, yeah. The R100s are... So there's the Cosmo, then the R100s. Mm. They also made a Luce. It's pronounced Luce. It's pronounced weird. Which was a front-wheel drive rotary, which they produced for, I think, like 2 years. But then they made R100, RX2, RX3, RX4, and the RX5 / Cosmo. It was called RX5 overseas, but it's called the Cosmo here.
Okay.
And then there wasn't really an RX6, but then an RX7, and then an RX8. And they got progressively more sporty until the RX8.
Yes.
RX8 chassis is great. The Renesis motor is...
I like RX8s.
I
don't want to buy one though, because like for RX8s I'm either looking. I want one that's not going to have a lot of mileage. Yeah. Because I don't want the engine to just blow up on me instantly.
Yeah. Well, it will anyways. But go on.
Yeah. But I also don't want to spend a lot of money, so I'm in between a rock and a hard place. Because like nice RX7s are like close to 10 grand at least.
Easily. Yeah. But Renesis motors. The issue with Renesis motors is, first of all, they put the exhaust ports on the irons and not the housings. So they move the exhaust ports from their big old spot to a little spot.
Yes.
Which means you can barely port your exhaust. If you want to port the motor, it's very hard to port that exhaust without cutting through either to a water channel or the other port.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The apex seals are thinner for efficiency.
Of course. And it's a family car. It's 4 doors.
Yeah. Which actually, genuinely, the back seats of an RX-8 are nice. I would love to REW swap one, which was the twin turbo motor out of the FD.
Yep.
Single turbo swap. Put that into an RX-8 chassis is beautiful.
Yes.
4-seater. You can take 4 people. You can blow through a 9,500 RPM red line. You're in a rotary car. The chassis is actually great.
Yeah.
The chassis, the way it corners, the way it feels, great. The motor and transmission is trash. Even the 6-speed manual. There's one guy online that put a 6-speed manual from an RX-8 into an FB. And it's just, the 6th gear is just a highway gear. There's no real need for it.
No.
And it's not that strong. The best rotary transmission is the FD. Yeah. And the Turbo 2 FC, same transmission.
Okay. Which is understandable because it's made to hold more power. And
Yeah. But, I don't even know why we got on that RX-8. Oh, because the cars, it got sportier and sportier. Yeah.
It's just continuously going from place to place to place to place.
Yeah, it's how my brain works. It's all over the place.
It's how I'm the same way.
But is my GoPro even still on? No, it's just it's telling me it's got no memory.
It's
got no memory.
SD card.
Yeah, it's just showing up an SD card. Well, we could probably wrap up.
Yeah. We've been talking for.
I don't even know how long. Let me check.
I think the last time I saw it, the GoPro had a time was like an hour and 5 minutes or something.
An hour and 24 minutes.
It's impressive.
I think this is the longest one. I think. I mean, like,
Of us sitting in a hotel.
The one with Colton down in St. Louis, that was pretty long, and I drank in that one a little bit too much. If you watch that video podcast, I thought his FC was like right behind me. And so we were drinking rum and Coke or something. And I thought the FC was right behind me. So I kept trying to rest my arm on it, but it was nowhere near me. And so you see me for like part of the video. Unfortunately, there's no video now, but I'm flailing my left arm because I'm trying to rest it on the FC, but it's not there. So, like, and I don't really I forget that I'm filming, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just, like, sitting there, flailing my arm at a car that isn't even there. So, yeah. But I think this is the longest podcast ever now. And I'm probably going to do a little bit of a pre-roll just to do, like, some channel updates and stuff. So
Yeah? Well, hey.
Where can people find you?
Well, my YouTube is Cool Stuff in Weird Cars. It's not, the link is not anywhere near that because it was Test Drive Blogs before, but then I was like, that name's stupid, and nobody understands what it actually means.
I kind of liked it.
See,
your name in my phone, by the way, is Max Test Drive Blogs.
Hey, that works. But yeah, the name was like, because I had a channel called Test Drive 426. It was a gaming channel.
Oh,
and
right, because of the game Test Drive.
Yeah.
Test Drive Unlimited 2 was the best game ever made.
Test Drive Unlimited 1.
Test Drive Unlimited 2.
1.
In Ibiza.
But 1 had better physics. In my opinion, at least. And
Fair.
There were other things about that I liked more about Test Drive Unlimited 2. I hated the acting in Test Drive Unlimited 2. It's so bad.
No car video game has ever had a good acting. I just played the new Need for Speed Heat.
Yeah?
I've been playing that. I should
bad.
make a video about it because you can rotary swap a Miata in it.
Yeah.
The acting is still so... It's just... Well, the whole storyline is cheesy.
Yeah, it is really
like,
cheesy.
You could do a drinking game and you would actually die at the amount of times where they're like, driving is my escape. And it's like, yeah, like, I like, when I'm, like, frustrated or, like, worked up or whatever, I do go on a drive. Like, it's nice and relaxing. But I hate people that, like, get it tattooed, like, driving is my escape. Or, like, they make it seem like, oh, it's us versus them. It's like, no, it's just you drive loud cars. Like,
yeah,
you know.
and the cops want to pull you over because of it.
Right. Yeah, it's like, oh, the cops hate us. It's like, yeah, well, in that game,
You're racing.
You have to jump through billboards. Like, you're not really a civil servant in that game.
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah, Test Drive Unlimited 2 was my favorite of the test drives. I wish that they remastered that game.
Yeah, and gave better actors. Please.
Oh man, yeah. All racing games need better actors, but
yeah, I go by Test Drive a lot on a lot of different things, even Discord. My name is Test Drive on there. And
you still stream? Where can people find your stream?
Test Drive Live, twitch.tv/Test Drive Live is where I stream. Okay. And there's I usually play racing games. Like, I've been playing through Gran Turismo 4 because I never played through it as a kid because I didn't have a PS2.
You were playing Forza or Forza 2?
Forza 2, because I'm doing a playthrough of it for a different channel. It's a gaming channel, but it has nothing to do with real life car stuff. And I have an Instagram, Test Drive 426. Where I post car photos every now and then. I used to post a lot back when I worked at the car dealership because I'd post like a picture of every car I drove because I was like, this is cool, car, people like cars. But then I stopped working there, so like I post pictures of when I hit mileage, like 174,000 on my Lexus or 173,000. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Well, I thank you guys for listening to this
extra
long Shooting Cars podcast. Listen. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on iTunes. Wherever you can find podcasts. It's just type in Shooting Cars. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll not see you guys next episode.
Thank you.
You can hear me next episode.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.